It's game day, baby. Let's go. Hall of Fame game going on today. And I'll be live later here on the channel starting at 6 o'clock Central Time. Be there or be square. This is what the thumbnail is going to look like. If you want to join me in all the fun festivities, we're going to be doing some giveaways, some raffles. It's going to be a tailgate-like atmosphere. So if you want to be a part of that, be a part of the best Texans community here on YouTube, make sure you join me later on today for our live show. Getting prepared for later on today, a little bit of scouting, a little bit of, who we're going to be looking at today. I'm going to give you guys, the top players who you need to be looking out for in today's Hall of Fame game. I'm going to let you know who you should be keeping a close eye out on. I know the starters aren't playing today, but still, there are going to be some important guys that you need to be watching in today's game, and I'm going to let you know who those guys are. Like I said, we're going to be doing a lot of giveaways, a lot of fun stuff in our live show later on today, but I want to up the ante just a little bit for everybody who's watching this show, all the real ones who are watching before our live show later on. I'm going to give you a chance to get a free raffle ticket. A free raffle ticket. I'm going to be giving away a Texans Today Yeti that my beautiful wife made me with her Cricut. So, if you want a free raffle ticket in for that, simple. All you got to do, put your score prediction down in the comment section. It has to be done before kickoff. I can see whenever you comment. So, if you put in the correct score prediction before kickoff and you get it correct, that's a free raffle ticket for you during today's game. Go down in the comment section. Get them in right now. Everybody, you get one. So go down and get your score prediction in the comment section for your chance to get a free raffle ticket for our live show later on. Now, the first, top players that I'm going to watch, not a singular player, but a position group, is the defensive tackles. We all know what happened earlier this week with Danico Autry. He's going to be suspended for the first 6 games of this season. That means a lot of guys are going to have to step up. Mainly Mario Edwards Jr., but I'm going to be looking at him. I'm going to be looking at this entire room going into this matchup against the Chicago Bears. Now, D'Amico Ryan said the starters aren't going to play. I don't know if Mario Edwards Jr. necessarily fits into that category, and I'm going to be saying that for a couple of guys in this video. I don't know if they necessarily fall into the category of starter that's not going to play, but I really do want to see what Mario Edwards Jr. has. He's had a lot of, good comments about him and his tenacity, his motor during training camp. I'd love to see that translate to the football field tonight. Also, Tim Settle, another guy who they signed in free agency from the Buffalo Bills. He could be another guy that needs to step up in this defensive tackle room. Another guy I'm going to be keeping an eye out on during this game, along with Khalil Davis. He played decent for the Texans in spurts last season, has been getting a lot of hype here and there during camp. Will he kind of show out during this game, along with the 7th-round pick out of Auburn, Marcus Harris? I'm really excited to see him. I think he especially fits that mold more of the 3 technique where Danico Autry was slated in to start. He's, maybe a little undersized to be a nose tackle, but in that 3 technique, a pass rushing defensive tackle, I think Marcus Harris could be a sneaky player to watch, a sneaky player to make this 53-man roster and maybe contribute on, rotational downs, rotational, places where he can really step in. I think this is another guy that we need to be keeping an eye out for during today's matchup. Another guy, Dameon Pierce, the running back. Now, this is another guy, he said the starters aren't going to play, but I think Dameon Pierce is going to end up suiting up at least to start this game. So I really want to see, Dameon Pierce has said he's coming out with a vengeance this season. Last year, he knows it himself. He didn't play up to par where he knows he can be, but he took last year as a learning year. He's really acclimated himself to this Bobby Slowick offense. I think he's going to come out in that first drive and really show his stuff, really be explosive, really going to be bouncing off tacklers in that first drive. I can't wait to see what Dameon Pierce has in him because he has a lot of guys right behind him that are looking to take that RB2 spot. Cam Akers was signed to the team this offseason. Another guy who, has had a checkered past, with injuries, has had, problems staying on the field. Can he possibly show something in this preseason game that, tells Texans front office, the coaching staff, that he deserves a spot. Also, 6th-round pick out of Louisville, Jawar Jordan. Will he get some reps? I know he's more of a scat back, more of a third down back, but I'm really excited to see what he can do, especially with Joe Mixon being injured. And that's a big thing because he has yet to, practice at all during training camp. He's been dealing with that soft tissue injury in his leg. So will he be ready to go for the regular season? I'm not sure. I mean, I think obviously they're playing it safe. It's training camp. It's the preseason. No need to push it. But I'm a little bit worried about Joe Mixon and that soft tissue injury. We talked about it with Christian Harris before and the fact that, he is dealing with that soft tissue injury, and you don't necessarily know when these guys are going to be healthy because there's no timetable on the return. With soft tissue injuries, you never know when it's going to be ready. So it's really a waiting game. So I'm a little bit worried about it. Let me know what you are down below. Are you worried about Joe Mixon's health going into the year? Let me know yes or no down in the comment section. And you don't have to worry about buying tickets to your favorite sporting event, concert, or comedy shows with our sponsor, GameTime. They are the go-to ticketing app here at Texans Today, and they should be your go-to ticketing app as well. I've been using GameTime for a while, and it's my go-to app for sporting events, concerts, and comedy shows. This year alone, I've been able to see Shane Gillis, Dave Chappelle, Drake, Adele, and I plan on going to multiple Astros games and, more events throughout the year. Don't miss out on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity by using the GameTime app to get you the best deals on last-second tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime today. Download the app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Download GameTime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. And I'm telling you, it is the hack for date night. If you don't know what you're going to do, if you and your significant other are looking for something to do on a weekend, this is the perfect app. Go check it out. Go check out all the shows, concerts, comedy shows near you, and use our code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. This is another one where it's not a singular player, but I'm going to be looking at the rookies. And similar to what I said about Mario Edwards Jr. earlier, I don't know if Kamari Lassiter is going to play because he's technically a starter, but he is a rookie. So I really hope that we get to see a little bit of Lassiter. There's been so much hype around him. I really want to see him in action going up against other teams, receivers, other competition besides our own guys. Obviously, he's played really well, fared really well against guys like Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, but can he do it against other teams? I don't know if he's going to play, but if he does, I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out for 14. Another guy with Jeremy Chuggs not playing, really kind of making sure he's good with that knee scope that he had earlier this offseason. Blake Fisher has been stepping in at the left tackle spot, the second-round pick out of Notre Dame. He's really young, but he's going to be the swing tackle for the Texans this season. So I want to see how he fares against the pass rush with the Chicago Bears and the defensive linemen they have. Another rookie to keep an eye out for. Calen Bullock is going to be playing on the back end as safety for the Texans. Maybe we get a pick from Calen Bullock. I really hope that he can help solidify this safety room, especially with the news that Jalen Petrie is going to be playing more in the slot, more in the box this season. Jimmy Ward, not really of a deep safety either. So does Calen Bullock find his way into, a starting role in nickel and dime packages for the Houston Texans this year? Cade Stover, another guy, the 4th-round pick out of Ohio State, going to be watching him. No Dalton Schultz playing in the Hall of Fame game because, he's a starter. He's a solidified guy, so I doubt that he's going to be on the field either. So Cade Stover, another guy who can maybe shine a little bit in this Hall of Fame game. Solomon Byrd, a 7th-round pick, the defensive end. We need a little bit of depth on the back end of that defensive end room. They went ahead and they signed Jerry Hughes, the veteran, this offseason because they felt like they needed a little bit more depth. Can Solomon Byrd beat out a guy like Jerry Hughes to get a final 53-man roster spot? We saw it last year. Just because you get drafted late doesn't necessarily mean you make this squad. So Solomon Byrd, can he find his way onto the team? And another guy, not a guy that we drafted, but a UDFA, the linebacker out of BYU, Max Tooley. I'm going to be watching him very closely because this linebacker room, I don't think it's solidified whatsoever past the top 2 guys in Christian Harris and Azeez Al-Shire. That's including Henry To'oTo'o. I don't know who is going to step up and be that 3rd, 4th linebacker in this room. But Max Tooley has been looking good in camp so far. And another linebacker that I'm going to be watching really closely is one Jacob Phillips. He's my next guy who you should be watching during today's game. he's been getting a lot of hype for his play so far during training camp. I mean, the former early round pick out of LSU from the Cleveland Browns, I talked to our Browns host, and he said, this dude's fantastic when he plays. He's been hurt a ton during his NFL career, but during training camp, him in pass coverage as a linebacker has been spot on during training camp so far. So obviously we have the top two guys, Christian Harris, Azeez Al-Shaair. Henry Toto is the de facto third starting linebacker, but if a guy like Jacob Phillips can come in and play really well, could he possibly snag that last starting spot from Henry Toto? I'm going to be watching him to see how he fares in coverage and how he looks, playing sideline to sideline at that linebacker spot during today's matchup. And lastly, Davis Mills. He's supposed to get a brunt force of the snaps for the quarterback position today for the Houston Texans because obviously no C.J. Stroud. No need to play C.J. Stroud really in the preseason besides maybe a couple drives because we know what we have in C.J. Stroud. But Davis Mills, I'm really interested to see how he plays and how he fares during this game. I want to see some points today. I want to see some scoring, and that all starts with our boy Davis Longneck Mills. I really hope he can go out and prove everybody why he was a third-round pick out of Stanford and why there's been a little bit of trade buzz around Davis Mills. A lot of teams are looking for a quarterback. A lot of teams are looking for some extra help in that room. Davis Mills could be an option for teams. I don't think he'll be traded because the Texans still need a backup quarterback, and I'd much rather have Mills than Case Keenum at this point. But I think he has something to prove because last year, we have to remember, whenever C.J. Stroud got knocked out of that Jets game, then the next 2 weeks, it was Case Keenum who started, not Davis Mills. So I think he has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, something to prove and say, hey, I'm still that guy. I can still play when the Texans need me. So Davis Mills, all eyes on you today, buddy. That's all I have for you on today's show, folks. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and join us for our live show later on today. It's going to be a hell of a time. Make sure you get your score predictions in the comment section. If you want to hit me up on Twitter, you know where to do it. At Jeremy Chuggs for the best Texans content and the dankest memes on the internet. Go hit me up. My DMs are always open at Jeremy Chuggs.